As a child, few things truly scared me. I found the dark to be comforting. I found spiders to be delightful. What did terrify me, however, was the concept of going to hell. Eternal damnation for one's actions, failure, or identity. I always thought the fabric of my soul had a tear that couldn't be mended. That my flesh and skin were growing, contorting in a way that didn't fit my body. That there was something intrinsically wrong with me, and that one day I would be punished for it. As remnants of Catholic iconography haunt culture itself, I smoke, drink, commit acts of sin. And still, even in adulthood, even as an atheist, there exists a lingering perturbation that upon death I will be judged for it, and that I will have no more chances for salvation, no more excuses, no more time to
confess, ask questions, whatever you wish to say. What guidance do you seek, my child?
Well, I just had one question. Is Mario going to hell?
What?
Yep, Mario from video game. Is he going to hell?
Get out.
Bless me, Father, for I've sinned. It's been 1 week since my last confession.
Although this wasn't exclusive to Nintendo, nor is it inclusive of its entire gamography, many of their most beloved franchises wanted to feature items, locations, and iconography that reference the Christian Bible in order to push a more family-friendly appearance, depicting church and angels as a recognizable good, and demonic imagery as a recognizable bad. Take, for instance, the use of the cross in Bomberman 2, the Bible in Legend of Zelda, the holy spell in Final Fantasy III, reference to church and prayer in Final Fantasy II, and don't even get me started on Earthbound. But during an era of satanic panic, especially in regards to concerns about the youth of today.
Cute little one. Everybody go. Oh, come on. His tail. It's a lightning bolt. And it's a satanic Z. Oh, I know, he's cute, isn't he? Little satanic tail.
Nintendo of America decided to pivot to a more agnostic image, deciding to censor all references to religion in their newly developed and localized games.
As detailed at Escapist magazine in 2015, Nintendo of America's no religion policy wasn't just for their own published titles, but extended to third-party offerings as well. Konami had to remove crosses from Castlevania, even though vampires and Christianity are inexorably linked. If Nintendo of America has a ban on religious iconography, we have no real framework as to whether Mario believes in heaven, is going to hell, and if the games can't help us with that, then maybe we have to go a little bit deeper. In order to prove that Mario might go to hell, we first need to find out if hell is a real place in the Mario universe. Obviously, there are locations in the games that are religious allusions. The underwear and the over there in Paper Mario resemble the Greek underworld, complete with its own river Styx, or river Twigs. Or take Super Mario Galaxy. The Japanese and Korean name for Melty Molten Galaxy is Hell Prominence Galaxy, Hell Erupting Lava Galaxy in Chinese. But these locations aren't hell itself. They're obvious references, but with the no religion policy we just discussed, combined with the tricky fact that Mario never actually dies forever in-game, there's no way to definitively know if hell exists. Unless we do some reading. Specifically reading the 1993 Halloween edition of Club Nintendo, and Chapter 8 Volume 4 of Super Mario Kun, also known as Super Mario Bros. Manga Mania. In both comics, the short stories find Mario very specifically in hell, named Hell, which I wish I knew before making this video. In the latter comic, Mario is dragged by some Eries to hell, where he meets the spirits of the creatures he's killed in his adventures, as well as the ghost of Bowser's ancestor.
Just arrived. Guess.
The hell.
No way! Why are you doing taking off! I'm going to hell! I have to come here!
Mario is forced to endure punishment by their hands, a posthumous revenge. After fighting back, Mario is kicked out of hell, allowing him to return to the living realm.
There's over 7 realms. What?
This ongoing comic is undoubtedly a gag series, a self-parody of sorts, so doesn't technically answer our hypothetical in canon, but for simplicity, we'll go forward with the assumption that hell is real. Speaking of hell, let's have class outside today. Hi. Nice blue we're having today.
Welcome to the outside world.
Okay, quickly, think back to your time in school. Okay, don't think that hard. And tell me, what was the most efficient method of studying for you? Were you a diligent note taker? Maybe you recorded your lectures and listened back to them later. Or if you were anything like me, you just kinda sat there, absorbing nothing, counting down the seconds until you could go home and write anime fanfiction again. I have 2 university degrees. Statistically speaking, about 62% of you use quiz cards or flashcards. These days, it's more likely if you use a quiz card app like Quizlet or something. I don't know, I'm out of school now. I don't have to study anymore. If you are part of this majority, then our favourite Italian plumber has you covered. You see, from 1995 to 1997, Nintendo officially licensed the production of Mario quiz cards. These quiz cards were a subscription set, meaning for just $4.99 a month, you could receive quiz cards featuring Mario and the gang exploring a wide variety of educational topics, such as geography, history, maths, and religion.
Hi, sorry, I'm just editing this video now. Who is that? What the f is that beast? That is no friend of mine. What? Who? That's not a gum. Like, what is that? I don't know what that is. Ew.
Because these were officially licensed cards, I'm inclined to believe they're canon, but we'll have to get into that later. Let's look at some of these religion cards, for example. Here, you can see Mario reading both the Bible and the Quran, so we did it. Mario's going to heaven, I guess. You know, he who reads the holy word, the holy scripture, must worship, must believe in God, be aware of his divine intervention, and thus go to heaven. Let's celebrate by looking at some more of my favourite Mario quiz cards, because a lot of people don't even know these are a thing, and I just kind of want to show you some. Like this one of Luigi seemingly just finding out about Nazis and World War II. Buddy, where have you been? Just log on to Twitter, you'll see enough Nazis as it is. Oh, and this one's really cute. In this card talking about illiteracy, we can see Mario start to panic because the brothers can't read. Is Mario illiterate? The implications of Mario being illiterate are earth-shattering. Your loved ones are going to call you to hang out or whatever, and now your response has to be, "Sorry, I can't come over actually. Mario is illiterate." Because if Mario is illiterate, then he was never actually able to read the holy texts in these quiz cards. He could never read the signs in his games. He could never read the letter from Princess Peach in Mario 64. Nintendo lied to us. Nintendo is a liar sometimes. So call us a bad tarot reader the way we can't trust these cards. But if we can't trust this, what can we trust? I mean, if there was some way to disprove Mario's illiteracy, then maybe we might be onto something. Otherwise, we're back where we started. But how do you prove that somebody isn't illiterate? Take Lea Michele of Glee and Broadway fame.
What are your thoughts on those conspiracy videos saying that you're illiterate?
Did you hear about this?
No! What?
Wait, you don't know about this? How long does it have?
4 years later, and Lea Michele's officially putting to bed the rumor she can't read.
It's just wild.
So, how is it done? Well, in neuro and educational psychology, the way to prove that somebody can or cannot read is actually rather simple. You simply provide them with a paragraph, sentence, or word and ask them to read it aloud. Later, you can take the Lexis away from them and ask them to read it aloud without it in front of them. You know, I keep saying that this is simple, but actually we might have a problem here. You see, in the research for this video, I came across this old Salty DK Dan tweet, and I'm not trying to steal anybody's bit here or joke. I genuinely didn't know this was already an online discussion. This is quite interesting to me, in which they argue,
"We are not starting the can Mario read argument again. This doesn't count. Mario isn't shown to be comprehending these words in the main Mario canon. It's the player that does. Everyone sit down. Mario is illiterate."
Serendip that this is already an online discussion. Now we know that we need to find proof of reading comprehension. So let's get off Twitter, there's none of that there. And let's analyze the Mario canon. But where do we start?
Hey, paisanos! It's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show!
The Super Mario Bros. Super Show was a 1989 animated television series, as well as following our usual cast of characters on Koopa-based adventures based on the first two Super Mario Bros. Games. The show features live-action segments starring Danny Wells as Luigi and professional wrestler Lou Albano as Mario.
Yes, he is schizophrenic. Yes, he is suicidal. Yes, he is homicidal. But he can be helped.
The Super Show was formative for me as a child. I don't know if this was a universal experience, but this was one of those shows for me that I would catch on television in the early hours of the morning and somehow convince myself that it was a fever dream. I mean, this is insane, right? Please tell me you're seeing this as well. As much as I do adore the live action segments, I want to focus on the animated portion of episode 34, the 10 Coopmandments. Get it? Like the biblical 10, like the Nintendo is mocking me at this point. See, look, proof of him reading and comprehending. What is that? What? Oh, this isn't canon either. The cards, the comics, the show, none of it is canon. Fair point. But what do you mean by that? You keep saying that to me. Out loud, I'm sure, at your screen. I'm sure you're yelling at me right now. What do you mean by Mario canon? I think it's time we finally investigate that. What is the Mario canon? If there even is one. You see, Mario canonicity is a complicated beast, unlike the streamlined and extremely easy to understand timeline and canonicity of the Legend of Zelda franchise. What we do know is that every Mario series of games takes place in its own canon. According to the Mario 6 instruction manual, for instance, Mario Party takes place in Mario Party World. Likewise, Mario and Luigi Paper Jam teaches us that the Paper Mario universe has its own distinct canon as well, with Paper Mario being a sort of homunculus of Mario, rather than being him. I mean, it makes sense that Nintendo would divide the worlds this way. There would be far too much conflicting Mario lore otherwise. That Kong racing and playing tennis with our heroes is not the same filthy ape trying to kill him in earlier titles.
If you're familiar with things like Popeye and some of the old comic characters, you would often see this cast of characters that takes on different roles depending on the comic or cartoon. They might be businessmen in one cartoon, or a pirate in another. Depending on the story that was being told, they would change roles. So, to a certain degree, I look at our characters in a similar way and feel that they can take on different roles in different games.
So let me see if I'm understanding this correctly. We're operating on Muppet law here. Every Mario character is an actor. All of them, including the Mario babies, are there child labor laws in the Koopa Kingdom? You're trying to tell me Mario and Luigi were hired specifically due to their status as twins, so that every 2 hours, as per union law, they can swap out between scenes vis-a-vis Zachary and Cody of The Sweet Life.
How do you lose a woman?
You forget to cherish her.
Not only do I have to prove that one Mario is going to hell, I need to prove that every iteration of the Mario brother is going to hell. Let's consult what we know so far. Mario has read the Bible, but can't read. One version of him's been to hell, but yet that's just one version of him. They're all actors, apparently. I don't know who to trust. I don't know what to believe. You know, now that I think about it, we haven't actually read the Bible. We don't know what God has to say about any of this. You guys let me read the German Club Nintendo Halloween Edition comic before I read the Bible for this video? Mario wanting to save Princess Peach out of the kindness of his soul is a romantic fairy tale if you're 12 years old and don't know shit from an ass.
This a mushroom, it's gonna give me the poo-poos!
But you're old now. No! Grow the hell up. Mario may be a plumber, but he's also what? A man.
A white man?!
I hate to be lewd on the internet and also the first person to ever say this, but Mario wanted fuck. I warp pipe on her Peach till she toad. Ugh. Anyway. You may be asking me, but Sarah, where's the canon proof that Mario is doing this all for sex? Well, I don't know, and my name isn't Sarah, but what I do know is that, sexual speculation aside, the King James Bible identifies lust as longing desire, eagerness to possess or enjoy, as the lust of gain or vigour, active power. Active power, power star, stay with me here. In the Bible, Jesus teaches us that money is not only the object, but also the fountainhead of greed. Except I lied, that was Karl Marx. As the single material good valued above all others in the Mushroom Kingdom, the power stars, the blue shells, even the very coins Mario hoards across the franchise represents the socioeconomic gap within an already existing monarchy. It's one thing that such a divide exists, between the ruling class and the common man, the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, the princess and the toad.
It must be some kind of communist plot!
How do you figure that, Sarge?
It's in the red zone!
But it's another that Mario does nothing to earn his wealth other than steal from the lower class. I mean, have you ever wondered where these coins come from? The iconic gold doubloons that Mario gets his greasy little fingers all over? Well, I can tell you for a fact they don't belong to him, that's for true. In fact, this freak resorts to beating the coins out of Koopas and Goombas et al. Theft! Theft, I say! Does this man's greed know no bounds? Won't somebody stop him? And there's no such thing as enough for this man, not just monetarily, but with items as well. He gorges himself on item after item, knowing full well their futility. Already wielding the power of a fire flower, or of green shells, he just needs to take more, the selfish fool.
Oh, this is insane, you fool!
Besides, as Marx also says, it's easier for a camel to squeeze through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to get into the kingdom of God. Got you again, that was Jesus this time. Let's just quickly analyse the economy within the Mario games, just to highlight Mario's average surplus wealth. The maximum amount of coins Mario can steal across most of the games is 999, with the exception of the Mario Kart games, in which case the cap is 10 per race. But how often is Mario giving back to his community? 100 coins for an extra life in the Mario and Luigi games? 50 coins in Paper Mario? As if the plumber's greed knows no bounds in this life, he insists on returning from death, evading the clutches of hell, to steal even more? To what end? There is a key distinction between anger and wrath in Christian doctrine. Anger is a neutral emotion, a passion similar to delight or fear that can guide the spirit and dictate morality. It isn't considered sinful to be angry at injustice, oppressors, or abusers. Rather, it allows individuals to recognize what is worth fighting for. Wrath, however, is ugly. Unlike anger, the distinction here is that wrath is unjust violence against the innocent. If anger reaches the point of a deliberate desire to kill or seriously wound a neighbour, it is gravely against charity. It is a mortal sin. Mario has never expressed anger, but his wrath is uncontrollable. He murders quote-unquote enemies for the crime of being in his way. Sure, they inflict damage when bumped into, but if I killed everyone who got in my way at the grocery store, I would be on a terrorist watch list. Pride is considered the original sin, the most damning and demonic, as this is the sin that Lucifer committed that cast him to hell. You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. You were the anointed cherub who covers. I established you. You were on the holy mountain of God. You walked back and forth in the midst of fiery stones. You were perfect in your ways from the day you were created, till iniquity was found in you. By the abundance of your trading, you became filled with violence within, and you sinned. Therefore I cast you as a profane thing out of the mountain of God, and I destroyed you, O covering cherub, from the midst of the fiery stones. Your heart was lifted up because of your beauty. You corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor. I cast you to the ground. Lucifer's hubris led him to believe that he was better, more intelligent, more worthy of worship than God. He wanted to replace the holiness of the Lord just because he deemed himself superior. Remind you of anyone? In every lifetime, Mario has been the face of hubris, flaunting his entitled superiority over Bowser, over his brother, over Yoshi, even over the innocent lives he takes, parading his own banner at the end of levels. Isn't that enough? No. The plumber plays God, creating worlds, fulfilling roles, the teacher, the savior, the hero. Need I remind you, there is an entire world called Mario Party World. Is he not ashamed? Is he jealous of his contemporaries, or disgusted at their diminutive status in comparison to his own? Even the cosmos aren't safe from his reigns, as a planetary Mount Rushmore created in his mustachioed image looms over the stars, a Narcissus in blue overalls. If we didn't see him pray for forgiveness in animations across the franchise, I would be deceived into believing he himself is the god of his games. But no, he knows where he stands in the theological hierarchy. He knows who to beg for forgiveness, for he knows the sins he has committed, and knows exactly where he belongs.
I'm Captain Lou Albano talking to you about drugs. Kids, don't be afraid to say no. Anyone that asks you to use drugs is not your friend. Drugs can and will kill. Remember, don't be afraid to turn to your priest, your rabbi, your minister, your moms, your dads, your teachers, because drugs can kill. And if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die. Please.